Okay, so we're going to talk about Hercules' remote collar. So the remote collar should be worn by Hercules every day. He can wear it 10 to 12 hours a day, and it should last a couple of days on a charge. So when you charge it at night, turn it on in the morning, put it on Hercules. The reason we have him wear it every day, whether we plan on training or not, is so that he doesn't become collar savvy. Collar savvy means he only listens when he's wearing the remote collar. So it's important that we keep consistent and have him wear it every day. So when you put this collar on Hercules, it should be under his chin, slightly off center each way or directly underneath. Let's pretend real quick that my watch is the remote collar. When you put on his slip collar to go for walks, you just slip it over, and it's actually sitting above. So pretend these are his ears right here. It'll sit on nice and high. You make sure that this is snugged. Whoops. Take that tab, slide it down so it's nice and snug so he can't slip out. This is to help guide him if he tries to walk ahead or anything like that. He needs to stay in a heel until you tell him free. So while he was here, he learned how to walk on a loose leash and with no leash, but we're going to talk about that here in a second. So heel, which is loose leash walking, sit stay, down stay, come when called, place stay, and leave it. So when you work on these commands, you want to sprinkle it into your lifestyle. So yes, you can set time aside for training scenarios, but you also want to make sure you just stay consistent, and it's like a lifestyle. The more you put into him, the better behaved he's going to be. So let's dive into turning on the remote collar itself. So the collar has a little red dot right here on the side, and what that is that's the on and off key. When you look at the remote, on the side of the remote you have the little red dot that matches it. What you're going to do is you're going to touch those two together, and you're going to see a green light. Maybe I didn't touch it together quite right. Touch them together, you'll see a green light. The green light means that it's on and charged, and it will flash every few seconds to let you know, hey, it's on and charged. If I touch it again, you'll see a red light, meaning that it's shut off. If this starts to blink orange, that means the battery is running low, so you want to go ahead and charge that. So touch them together. There you go. And it's a magnet, so sometimes it might be just slightly off center of the red, but you want to touch these two together like so. Green light. So this is turned on. The reason they have that feature is so a dog doesn't accidentally touch a button if they go to scratch. So it is a buttonless on and off key. So when you look at the remote, if you flip it to the back side, the big button right here is what we're going to push and hold to turn the collar on. So it is on, ready to go. So he is at level 30 out of 100. That's about average. It's a little bit higher than what I guess I would normally do with dogs, but all dogs are a little bit different. Hercules has felt the stimulation of an invisible fence. So that means it was a little bit hard to communicate to him what this meant. So we had to go really slow. And now this is to stop any unwanted behavior or correct behavior that shouldn't be there. We also want to reward the good behavior with treats, praise, and petting. So for example, let's say you're taking Hercules for a walk on leash, just for an example. You would have this collar on him, and if he started to do anything that was unacceptable on the walk, sniff, pull, get overly excited by cars, you would say no and give a tap. So it's a little intense for me, but Hercules has a higher discomfort level tolerance, so that is something I would definitely want to avoid. When we talk about tolerance, Hercules is naturally an aroused dog. So the more aroused the dog, the higher the discomfort tolerance is. So you would say no and push the black S button. So you're going to see my thumb twitch, no, twitch, and it's going to do the same thing for Hercules. It's going to make his muscle do a little twitch. But what that does is that sends a signal, hey, I don't like what you did. If you don't do that, you won't have to feel the remote collar. Like, here's your consequence, and then do it right and move on. So just like in life, there are consequences for our actions. If he does everything right, great, he's going to get rewarded, and he's not going to feel this at all. If he messes up, he's going to feel it. Like, for example, if you're walking down the road and there's a car, he's done a lot better, but that doesn't mean he won't still try to react. If he does, no, and give him a correction using the black S button. So this is the button you are going to rely on the most. Next, we're going to talk about the boost level. So the boost is this red button on the side here. So what that does is that increases the level by a significant amount to snap Hercules out of whatever he's intense on. Let's say for whatever reason he got away from us and he's sprinting down the road, and then there's a motorcycle, there's a car, something really got his attention. So what you're going to do is snap him out of it by pushing the red S button, which is going to double the intensity of the correction. Hopefully that is showing on the screen. So it's going to go from 30 to 60 in the push of a button. What that does is it sends a higher signal, and that is supposed to snap him out of it. Again, I have not needed the boost for our training. We haven't been put in that situation. Even when we went on our field trips, there was cars and distractions and whatnot, and he just never broke that barrier of being under control. A calm dog makes better decisions, so he was never overly aroused. But it's not saying it couldn't happen. So you have that, but it's for emergencies only. That's why it's in red. On the other side of the remote, we have the T, which is just vibrate. You can use that as a warning down the road. What I would make sure to do is not use it anytime soon. It takes a dog 2 weeks to learn a behavior, 4 to 6 months for that behavior to become long-term memory. So the next 2 weeks when he's home with you is very important that you stay consistent with the rules. And then 4 to 6 months from now, as long as you stay consistent, he should have it locked in his long-term memory. That doesn't mean we can fade away from using this, because you never know what could happen. He could always, get really distracted, or something could always happen where he just like, boo, takes off. So you want to have a way to communicate to him while on or off of the leash. So back here, the on-off button is also a flashlight. So instead of pushing and holding it to turn the remote off, you tap it and it turns into a flashlight, so you can see Hercules at night. Tap it again. So if you tap it once, it flashes the flashlight. If you tap it another time, it's a solid flashlight. Tap it one more time and it shuts it off. There's another button on the back right here that's M/C. That changes these buttons from momentary to continuous. So when you look on your screen for the remote, hopefully you can see that it is level 30 and there's an M on there. If for some reason you see a letter C, or if you see an M and a C, then you need to push and hold that little button right here to change it until you see just the letter M. And then so we are going to shut this off, push and hold it. Shut this off. So like I said, it should last a couple days on a charge. The charging port is on the back right here, and underneath where the prongs are right here. Make sure this is shut all the way so that this stays waterproof. If we go into the box here, this is your charger. You can charge both at the same time. If they're on a completely empty battery, it should really only take a few hours to charge, so you don't have to leave it plugged in overnight. He has a little tool right here. This black tool is important. If he goes swimming, you want to make sure that you tighten the little prongs so that no water seeps in. This is just the tool that fits. Just tighten it like a normal screw. This is his extra collar. If for some reason the red one breaks, you have this one here. And then underneath here we have the warranty card. You can either send this in, or you can just send all your information into the email address. And if you want to go through the functions of the remote and the collar, this is the instruction manual. I've went over everything that you really need to know, but if you want to go in more detail, this is the manual to do so. Hercules did a great job. I am really impressed with his progress. He's a high intense dog. So we had a little issue with mouthing. If he starts to mouth or anything, you can correct that using the remote collar, or you can give a tug on the slip collar, whatever works. I want you to reward the behaviors that you like, because that's going to increase the likelihood that they happen, and then correct using the remote collar or the slip collar to decrease the likelihood of the behaviors that you don't like. So just stay consistent and have fun. And now we're going to show you his commands. Heel. Heel. Sit. Boy, sit. Good sit. Heel. Jump. No. Heel. Boy. Sit. You don't even see the mannequin. Heel. Good boy. Okay. Down. Good boy. Down. 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 Oh, you had to lay down. There's a box of treats right there. Oh my goodness. Down. Good. Down. Free. Good boy. Good boy. Sit. Sit. Free. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Good boy. Okay. Place. Good boy. Place. 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 Good place. Free. Good boy. Good boy. Good. Oh, you're a good boy.